Hiya, and welcome back to the Habit Hacker podcast. Today's episode has actually been inspired by one of my legendary clients who is a part of the project group chat, which is the Confidence Project WhatsApp community, and had been getting in her head a bit about comparing herself not to other people but to an older version of her. So her former self, when she had a little bit more capacity, she had more time and energy, she didn't have kids, she didn't have a full-time job, etc. And just getting into a bit of a negative headspace and really getting inside of her own head with comparing herself to where she used to be. Now, this happens with a lot of my female clients. They either come to us and they're like, Adam, I want to get back to how I looked in 2023. Or when they're on their journey, they'll see a photo of themselves from previous years and be like, I just want to be looking like that. I want to be back to that kind of like physique and I want to be back to that body composition. Now, this tends to happen when you see an old photo of yourself. Facebook memories are golden, don't get us wrong, but sometimes aren't the best for keeping you inside your own head and not letting your head fall off. So, the reason why I'm making this episode is because when you get into that headspace isn't the bad thing. The bad thing is the guilt, the shame, and the judgment of yourself that actually comes with it. And that's where you can find yourself feeling like your efforts just not worth it. You feel like you're putting everything into it to get nothing back. Like, that is the biggest thing that kills your motivation. So, gonna kill a lot of birds with one stone this episode. Now, why does this happen? Why is this something which you find yourself doing quite often? Well, we have vivid memories of feeling good in your body when you were probably your leanest and when you were pretty much in the smallest shell that you possibly had throughout your adult life. And social media makes this worse because obviously not only do you see yourself on memories, but you also see other people making progress. But again, you don't see what they went through to get there. The sacrifice, the restriction, maybe it's like GLP-1 drugs or like weight loss drugs or steroids or peptides. Like, you don't see the short-term fixes to the long-term problem. All you see is a before and after photo. Now, we forget how we got that body. So, for example, you can go through a breakup and lose a fuck ton of weight. I've been there. I've done that. I've got the fucking t-shirt. And you can look amazing to the eye, but you probably felt like shit. Your energy was low, you had probably less muscle, you probably were hungry all the time, like, you probably just weren't in a good place, physically, mentally, and emotionally. But yes, you might have looked lean, but looking lean isn't the definition of health. It isn't, in my opinion, anyways. So we always romanticize about the past whilst hating the present. And I think that's something which your brain is like Teflon to the good and Velcro to the bad, or the other way around, can't remember. But the brain doesn't do fair comparisons because you'll be comparing your peak of how you look and felt, well, how you looked at one side of it, and then just comparing your peak to just your everyday life, where, again, just like Instagram, you're comparing your everyday life to someone else's highlight reels. It's not a fair comparison. So we need to move the goalposts. So it's understanding the truth behind the matter. Now, your old body likely came from extreme methods. Like I said before, going through a breakup where there's a lot of emotional turmoil. You could have used like diet clubs or kind of unsustainable fucking fads or protocols. You probably were lacking a lot of nutrients. Again, the thing that I'm always against with the GLP-1 drugs is like, yes, you're going to wipe out your appetite, but also you're going to wipe out actually getting the nutrients that your body physically needs to run at its finest and run at its best. You might have done excessive cardio or running or fucking Joe Wicks's YouTubes on YouTube. And you just had like no social life and you were like, yeah, I look great, but you weren't actually enjoying life at the same time. So you need to remember the cost that you had to get that body. So with that is like, remember how you felt in it rather than just how you looked at the time. There's a big, big difference. Now, body changes are real. So what I mean by that is like, if you've had a baby, for example, your body is going to be substantially different to what it was before you had the baby. Your hormones can shift, whether it might be like perimenopausal or menopausal. You can have metabolism adaptations. So again, like you could have an underactive thyroid, like all these things are going to contribute to changes within your body and how you look and feel. You've got stress. So again, work stress, family stress, like relationship stress, like the whole shebang. And your priorities change. Of course they do. Like if your priorities were the same now as they were 2 years ago, I'll be scratching my head thinking, why haven't you changed and why haven't you grown in 2 years? Simple as that. So again, age, stress, lifestyle, Obviously, your biology, depending on if you're male, female, etc., all these things are going to change how you look and feel on a yearly basis, regardless of whether you're embarking on health and fitness goals and fat loss and muscle building, etc. So, even when you were your lightest weight, did you still want to be smaller? That's a question that I'm going to ask. Like, when you were at your lightest weight, did you still want to be smaller? Because that is a trap in itself. Because the goalposts are always going to move. Like, if I was just another kilo lighter, if I was just another dress size smaller. But what you'll actually find, if you do get to that point, which I've been too lean before, Gabby, my partner, she'll be the first one to admit this, she got a little bit too lean. You realise that, like, your confidence is pretty much just the same. Oh, hello, son. He's just burst through the door. Daddy's doing a podcast. Are you going to see the whippet? I'll try and get the camera to lock on my face so we can see the whippet. You've really fucked this episode for people who are just watching. Is it going to follow us? There it is. He's a good boy. You're not exactly the most content-friendly dog in the world, but here we are. But nonetheless, where was I? Good job I took some notes for this one. Always thinking that when you are smaller, you want to be smaller again. And that's the thing, you'll realise when you get to the point of where you are lean and you don't want to do any more cardio or steps or restrict any more food or etc., you'll get to the point where it's like, well, this is it. And you'll start to find that you don't feel the greatest because you've got obesity at one end, you've got anorexia at the other. You want to be in the middle as like an optimal body weight and feeling good as well as looking good. This is something that took me a long time to figure out. So like I say, never actually feels like enough when you do get your smallest, and that kind of mindset will never satisfy you. It really, really won't. So let's shift from always trying to be smaller to being better. Let me explain. Stop chasing your old weight and start chasing strength goals and performance goals. Stop comparing your past photos and start comparing your photos now to last week or last month. For example, your new goals could be like, I want to feel good, I want to put a certain dress on and feel confident in it, and I want to feel strong and capable with the kids so I can pick the kids up or play with them in the garden without getting out of breath. That is much better than just being like, right, I want to look a certain way for a holiday. It really, really is. It really is, because what happens when you go on that holiday? Presume you're going to enjoy yourself a little bit. Therefore, your body's probably going to change from when you get there to when you get back. Good grief. If you want to know how much my body changed when I went to America for 3 weeks, after taking steroids for 12 weeks and then going there and just completely stopping, not training, not taking steroids anymore, like, you wouldn't even think I was the same person. I learned that lesson the hard way. Now, this is where I want to bring you on to the solution, which is self-acceptance comes before self-love. I'll say that again because it's so important. Self-acceptance comes before self-love. Now, what I want you to take from that is, like, you can't force yourself to love your body immediately. It's not going to happen. Same just like you gained the weight over a long period of time. You can't lose the weight or learn to love and accept your body in a short period of time either. Again, just think of that big picture thinking. But you can accept it. And this is the thing. It's like, you might not be where you want to be, but one, you're probably on a better path. If you listen to this, you're definitely on a better path for getting towards there. And like I say, you need to accept where you are right now. Because without that, you're going to be constantly in that mindset, in that battle of, oh, I could have been here, or I should have been there. I can't believe I let myself go this much. Like, how did this happen? It's happened. You are where you are. It's just time to accept that. And like I say, self-acceptance comes before self-love. So acceptance is the foundation, and then love comes after, once you start to accept that one shell you've got to spend the rest of your entire life in. So here's what I always advise my clients to do. And this is the mirror mindset, or the mirror method. And instead of standing in front of the mirror and picking yourself apart and being like, I hate me love handles, I hate me man boobs, I hate the fat on my legs, I hate me cellulite, I hate me stretch marks, I want you to flip that on its fucking head. I want you to do a full 360, even a 720 with that shit. And what I want you to do is actively start listing things that you like and love about yourself. And trust us, you do it once, maybe feel a bit weird, not much of a change, but if you do this every day, because you see yourself every day in the mirror, and you do this consistently, and you truly say it with vim and passion and conviction that you actually do like these things about yourself, you will start to notice a huge difference when you catch yourself in the mirror. You really, really will. Trust us. Because it's not about loving everything immediately. It's more about finding something that you appreciate about your physical being. Therefore, do it regularly. Do it every day, and then just try and catch yourself before you spiral. And that's the most important thing. It really, really is. So change how you see yourself over time. Now, another thing I would advise you to do is look at your, what I call your palette. Now, your palette is the music you listen to, the radio shows that you listen to, the programs on TV that you watch, the social media accounts that you follow. I've got a whippet literally sniffing me crotch whilst I'm trying to say this, so sorry if I'm stumbling and stuttering on my words. I've got a little bit of a distraction. But nonetheless, it's like you want to follow people on Instagram who inspire you, who show their authentic selves. They don't just show a before and after photo and be like, look at me, look what I've done, look at how far I've got, and not show you the process in between, because you probably are not seeing the full wrath of what they're going through to get there. And like I say, just making sure that when you have your account and you curate that following and obviously your algorithm in your feed, you're not liking photos of like stick thin fucking fitness models, like if you're female, or you're not following like people who are full of steroids if you're male. It's just gonna make you feel like you're not where you should be, which is not the case at all. So reframe the narrative. All body, unsustainable lifestyle. New body, sustainable lifestyle, and that's what the most important thing is. So you chose your health over an extreme restriction. You chose your strength over excessive cardio and excessive running and achy knees. And again, just understanding that's not failure, that's just growth. And that's you embarking on this new version of yourself, not going back to the old version of you in 2020 fucking whatever, that, as I say, was an unrealistic ideal. Sorry, I'm literally just scratching the whippet's butt again. If you can see him if I move my head down. You can't. But what an interactive episode this has been. But let's just round this episode off and just make sure that you know how to move forward. So you'll never feel satisfied by chasing your old body. Let's just get that completely straight off the bat. Because even when you do get there, you probably won't stay there sustainably, because your body weight is meant to be cyclical. Your body was meant to come up and down over time and up and down over time. That's completely normal and warranted. But you'll start comparing to something else. So the only way is to accept how you are now and stop comparing yourself to the former self, stop comparing you to others, and just focus on being in your lane and putting your fucking head down and ticking the boxes. Because look, that's all you can ever do. Great news, the whippet's gone. But I say, it's you working towards your future you, rather than an unhealthy, unsustainable past you. It's that sustainable, healthy lifestyle approach moving forward. So, on that note, your old body look was probably great, but the extreme sacrifice and restriction that it took you to get there was probably an absolute hell on earth. Your current body is a living, real life sum of your habits over the last 6 months, and if you're on a trajectory where if you want to lose fat, your body weight's coming down over the last few months, has that been the case? If it has been, keep on doing what you're fucking doing. Both are valid, don't get us wrong, but one is maintainable and one is actually, you couldn't write this, could you? One is healthy and one's going to make you be successful and feel good, not just look a certain way. And please just stop punishing yourself for choosing sustainability over restriction, dieting, being smaller and trying to fit into something which you probably don't even fucking like anymore. Let's be serious. So on that note, let us leave you with one saying that I've said multiple times throughout this podcast episode. Self-acceptance comes before self-love. Now, any questions on this, comparing yourself to others, because again, I've been there, done that, got plenty of the t-shirts, comparing yourself to your old former self where you were lighter, maybe you probably had different responsibilities, different fucking circumstances, let me know. Please drop us a message. I'll put my Instagram link to my Instagram account in the show notes. I'll put a link to see about if you want to work with us and this has inspired you to be like, you know what it is? I need him in my back pocket. Or, like I say, if you want to find out a little bit more information about what I do and my service, as I say, there'll be a link for that as well. So on that note, have an amazing day. Keep smashing it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Love you, bye. Yeehaw.